So Outlaws of Thunder Junction Quick Draft has been live for a few days now, and once again I wanted to find the best strat for farming wins. I've done this quite a few times now, and I keep getting a lot of questions about my process. So I'm going to walk you through what I'm calling the Goldilocks method for forcing in Quick Draft. I put out new guide videos for each magic set, so subscribe if you love drafting. So with my main account sitting in top 100 Mythic after drafting Aether Drift, and me having never played OTJ before, I thought it's finally time to make that alt account. I got the starter pack gems and dove in. For those that are unaware, in Quick Draft you're the only human at the table. The other 7 spots are taken up by bots. They have a predetermined pick order and ranking of cards that they want to take. This is weighted not only towards higher rarity but also to specific colors. Why I've dubbed this the Goldilocks method is that you're looking for just the right mix of ignored by the bots and actually good enough to win. So initially looking at the data, Abzan's stuff was sitting pretty at the top. Both green white and green black had the best win rates, with splashes of them doing great as well. Sure, the bots were going to be taking these cards highly, but since they're so good and because I could be any combination I wanted of between these 3 colors, it should be okay, right? Well, I went 19 and 9 for a 67% win rate forcing this archetype, which was fine, but remember I started a fresh account and many of my opponents were preoccupied with passing number 2s. From these drafts I could tell that these cards are very clearly strong, but sometimes it didn't really come together. Trying to straddle between 3 colors could really put a big strain on your mana base. If you wanted to try this, then I think you should be green white or green black base, but pick up the deserts that you need to splash any other open colors. So although this was decent, I knew it wasn't what I was looking for. It's too bland, it's too basic for my tastes. What about something a little spicier? Yeah, this is more like it. What if I played the worst archetype by win rate and razzled some nerds? Blue and red are the 2 colors drafted the least by the bots, so it's pretty easy to assemble a critical mass of the cards for this deck. But even if you get what you want, can this deck actually win? Well, kinda. I went 5-3 for a 62% win rate with this archetype, and although I did have a lot of fun, I had to play my ass off for these wins. I don't think I can recommend this to anyone other than fellow sickos. Too spicy, unfortunately. I needed something a bit more in the middle. Okay, now we're talking. It was clear from my earlier drafts that good blue control cards are being ignored by the bots, but rather than pairing them with red, I went with black instead for stronger removal and better creatures at keeping you alive. This led me to a whopping 80% win rate, going 12 and 3. And this was at the end of my draft, so I was in the gold and platinum rank, which is a lot more respectable. To figure out what good players were picking in this archetype, I went to 17 lands, filtered by Premier Draft, top players, and then by the blue-black archetype. Since you're a control deck, removal is the highest priority. Cards like Shoot the Sheriff, Consuming Ashes, Unfortunate Accident, Desert Stew, and Murder are what you're looking to pick over anything else. With the blue cards being respected less by the bots, I would recommend taking the black cards a little higher in general. Some other spells that help keep you alive: Phantom Interference is a really cheap curve filler that can become a threat later on as well. Essence Capture is a solid way to ruin your opponent's tempo and can combo nicely with your lifelink creatures by growing them. You also have access to a few great bounce spells in Repulse, Jailbreak Scheme, and This Town Ain't Big Enough. There's a lot of cute stuff you can do with this town, but mostly it was there as insurance against my opponent's tricks when I was ahead on board already. Plan the Heist is also basically a bomb in this deck. It's just too much card advantage for 4 mana. Moving into the important creatures, we have Marauding Sphinx. It's basically your main way to close out games. It's hard to interact with, and it lets you fix your draws as you're removing all your opponent's threats. Desperate Bloodseeker is amazing at keeping you alive, and you can either self-mill to set up some flashback stuff, or you can target your opponent if you need crime triggers. Blood Hustler and Raven of the Fell Omens don't look like a lot until you remember you're planning to commit roughly infinite crimes, so they can be win conditions all by themselves. Ambush Gigapede is no joke. More than one person got gigged the fuck out before they realized what would happen to them. It's one of the best ways to deal with a massive green idiots flying around. And finally, these 3 cards are what I think of as kind of the glue cards. You really want these in multiples, and they make the deck work a lot more smoothly. Take the Fall lets you dig through your deck and hit your land drops whilst also extending the game. It ruins Death Touchers, and it also gives you insurance against combat tricks. It's truly amazing in this deck. Loan Shark is a great mix of card advantage, a defensive body, but also a large enough attack to actually be a threat. I had one deck with 3 of these guys and it felt really good. Slickshot Lockpicker is probably the sweetest card in this archetype. Just plot them and then get ready to flashback your best removal spell for a huge tempo swing on the following turn. Also, if you happen to get some busted rare spells, then you can cast them twice instead. Sorry this video took a little while to come out, but I hope you can see from my method that I'd rather be rigorous and get the right answer than push things out too quickly. Interestingly also, I think all of these guides for a quick draft so far have had black in them. Did I mention it's my favorite color? Thanks for watching until the end, subscribe if you're not already, and I'll catch you next time.